Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thank you for tuning in and checking out my latest video. So today's video is going to be talking about the upcoming matchup between David Benavidez versus Anthony Dirrell taking place on September the 28th. So both of these guys have two interesting styles. I'm going to talk about both of their characteristics in the ring and ultimately who I think will win this fight. So hope you guys enjoy the video. Let's first start with Anthony Dirrell and what he brings to the table in this fight. Looking at Anthony Dirrell, offensively, Dirrell likes to throw a straight right hand. He likes to work the body. His most effective body punch, in my opinion, would be his left hook to the body. And when you're watching Dirrell, he's a fighter that's very composed in the ring. He doesn't throw a lot of punches. He's kind of stationary at times, and he's a fighter that likes to fight at his own pace. He doesn't really like fighting at a high tempo. He's not a big puncher. And Dirrell, I would say, one of his best aspects is that he's always remaining calm. He has that high guard defensively. So that's basically I would say about Dirrell. He's an experienced fighter who's always composed, and that's what kind of led him to having the record that he currently has in the sport of boxing, in my view. Now, looking at David Benavidez and what he brings to the table in this fight. So, David Benavidez, when you watch him, he's a guy who is a vicious body puncher, one of the best body punchers in the sport of boxing easily. What I like a lot about his style is he actually doubles his hooks to the body at times. You don't see that very often in today's fighters. That's a real old school technique. So he's a vicious body puncher. His double left hooks to the body are vintage and they're brutal. Also, when you look at David Benavidez, he's a guy who has a stiff jab. He has a straight right hand that's very long, covers a lot of distance, very effective technique for him. I also like his uppercuts as well, and he's a very good combination puncher. And on top of that, David Benavidez has very good hand speed. So when you watch him, he just brings a lot of things to the table. He has an excellent tempo. He throws a ton of punches. He has good conditioning. He's showing he has a pretty good chin. He's taken some big shots in some fights earlier on in his career. And he's improving every fight. I saw him actually fight on the Triple G versus David Lemieux card against Francis Netu out of Montreal. And Francis Netu, people in Canada knew who he is. If you're diehard boxing fans, he had kind of a tricky style. He can move around the ring. He can counter punch. He would fight with you on the inside. And David Benavidez fought him on early in his career, not having a lot of amateur experience. And that was a tough fight for him, but I felt like he really learned from that fight. And it's interesting to see him grow every time we see him back in the ring. So just a really interesting fighter to watch, David Benavidez. And what I describe him when I'm talking to boxing fans and other people who don't watch a ton of boxing but watch an occasional fight, I would just say he's like a tank. He steamrolls people. He's aggressive. And he's fun to watch. He'll knock people out. He'll stop people standing up. You know you're going to get action when you're watching David Benavidez fight, and that's a fighter that I recommend to people who don't watch a ton of boxing that will get into the sport and really enjoy his performances. So ultimately, guys, when I look at this fight, who do I think will win this matchup? In this fight, honestly speaking, guys, I believe the only advantage Anthony Dirrell has in this matchup is his experience. I think that's the best asset he has in this fight, and that's the only advantage. In my view, David Benavidez has the advantage in strength, power punching. He also is a better body puncher. He has more offensive weapons that he likes to use. He has a better tempo. He throws more punches. So there's a lot of things that he does very well. And I would say that Anthony Dirrell, in my view, he's got to really frustrate David Benavidez when he's walking him down. He's got to throw some counters. He's got to use some different looks if he wants to make this a competitive fight. Ultimately, guys, in my view, I just think David Benavidez, with the type of fighters that he's sparred, guys like Sean Porter, recently he's been sparring, Austin Amel Williams, a really good kid coming up from Texas. Then you look at Triple G in the past, David Benavidez has sparred Dimitri Bivol. I just think he's seen so many things in sparring he's learned from these different sparring sessions. I don't think that anything that Anthony Dirrell brings to the table in this fight is going to surprise him or is going to fool him or frustrate him. Ultimately, in my view, guys, no disrespect to Anthony Dirrell, I just see David Benavidez winning this matchup all day. I think he wins by a stoppage in the 6th round, in my view, personally. Let me know what you guys think on this fight. What do you guys think about David Benavidez? To me, I think this guy's the truth. It's been a pleasure watching him progress every fight. Very exciting style, and the fans appreciate really his style, in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think on the matchup. Do you see Dirrell pulling up an upset? Is it closer than I thought? Let me know, guys. And once again, thank you for tuning in. Check out the channel and please subscribe in the future if you already haven't done so. Thank you very much, guys.